Hi, my name is Ariel Cetrone. I'm the Institutional Partnerships Manager for Wikimedia DC. This is my first convention here, not just in Berlin, but any Wiki convention period, so I'm happy to be here. I was brought on board to Wikimedia DC approximately, well, almost exactly 1 year ago. So I came at this from having little to no editing experience, and I'll just put that right out there. My background was in managing programs for nonprofit organizations, lands, historical organizations, and educational institutions. So I tried to use a lot of my experience to bring in some of those new partners, but what I also tried to do is, when engaging new editors in our events, speak to them in the way that which I would like to learn, in the way that I used to teach when I worked with students. So I'll talk a little bit about, briefly about engaging new editors and limiting intimidation by emphasizing the familiar. I think a lot of these themes are already addressed in Amir's presentation, and I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who feels this way. So Wikimedia DC, we cover DC, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. Some of our partners include the Smithsonian, National Archives, Georgetown University, and recently the United States Department of Agriculture. Two of our goals in our strategic plan are to cultivate new partners and increase participation by diverse audiences. We aim to do about 40 to 50 editing events per year. We're hovering between about 35 to 40 at the moment. In a recent survey that we sent after a few of our recent events, 80% of our attendees are new editors. So that's the majority of our audience. We're not getting experienced editors. Mostly, we're getting new editors, so we want to speak to them as if they are new editors, that this is the first time they're hearing this information. Post-event surveys, about 78% of our attendees indicate that they are highly likely to edit in the future. I think sometimes it has a lot to do with the way that we present the information and how we manage to present it in an accessible, barrier-free manner. So 95% of attendees will recommend our events to friends and colleagues. That's something I'm pretty proud of. A couple opportunities in our area. We reach a large number of GLAM professionals, scientists, and historians in the region. On the other hand of things, though we have a lot of context, there's varying levels of experience, also confusion about policies and tools, other barriers to participation. Something I always like to say, set the tone early. The event does not start when people sit in their seats. It starts with your registration method. New editors, as far as limiting intimidation factors, I like to use familiar methods like Eventbrite or an easy registration system. A bonus, it also helps you capture email addresses, which makes it easier to reach out to people outside of the Wikimedia platform if need be. I also find that when you ask people to register, new editors with no editing experience, register for an event by performing an edit, that kind of makes people feel a bit uneasy, and they might be a little less inclined to follow through on the day of the event. Of course, when managing your expectations, and be sure to communicate with your, one of the things I always like to say is get in touch with your pre-Wikimedia self. What would you want to know? Ask yourself that question. If I was coming into something, it could be outside of Wikimedia, how would I want to learn this? And teach people in that way. That's what I try to do. I always pull the room for new editors and figure out who's new, who can help, who's more experienced that can help new editors. We acknowledge the experienced editors. I think it also helps to build them up a bit. To build them up a bit as all avoids disengagement. One of the last things I want to mention, I always try to follow this order of things as we're going through the editing process: explanation, demonstration, and guided execution. I think that's really important, other than just throwing terms like talk page and user page at people to show people that it's easier than they think it is. And one thing I do want to point out in this picture, we always try, as you said, point out the familiar and monitor the room for frustrated editors or fast learners. I love this picture because we have this young lady who looks so confident in her edits, and if you see the woman behind her, it just looks terribly confused. So I really like that picture. It points out that you just really have to know your editors and make sure that you are reaching all of their needs as much as possible, not just during the event, but after the event, with either brief surveys, links to other resources, and always your PDF of your slides so they can refer to it later.